Back into Sports Drive once again. I'm Preston Moore. Joining me now, live from Randall High School, is volleyball head coach Haleigh Burns, volleyball head coach of the state champion Randall Lady Raiders. I can say that now. I believe this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first time you've been on the show since winning the championship?
Yes, this is, and it's never going to get old hearing that. I think it still kind of like hits me like, oh my gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, state. But yes, this is. We haven't talked since I came back from
Mhm.
Garland, so I'm excited to be here and talking to you guys about it.
Yeah, I remember I had you on the show just before you were about to head out for Garland. I think you were actually leaving that day, if I'm not mistaken. And you talked a lot about how your girls still had their eyes on the prize. You know, they weren't going to get uh, in over their heads with the fact that they made it to the state tournament, that they were one of those final four teams, that they still had their eyes on the prize. Obviously, they did. What can you say about them, maintaining that resilience and tenacity to go on to win the state championship against the odds that you had?
I think with this group that I have, they're just so special, and the fact that they were really good at executing game plans and being coachable and listening to what I had to say, and so I think that set them apart and how they could be successful in that weekend in Garland. And I think whoever stepped on the court, I think that was the mindset of like, whoever's going to be out here, we're going to beat you, and we're going to, you know, do what we need to do. And I think that's really special thing about my group is that they took practice serious and
Mm-hmm.
we watched film while we were there, and they were really, focused on what they had to do to be successful, to beat Huffman and to beat Aubrey. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's ultimately, I think what helped them is that, they worked really hard and they did all the little things. But at the end of the day, I think they honestly believed that they were going to win. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that was the big factor right there, is that whoever stepped on the court, they were going to work together to get it done. And that was, really awesome as a coach to watch them genuinely believe they were going to get it done. There was no doubt in their minds that they were going to win that weekend.
Mm-hmm. And you guys came into the weekend and you swept both teams in the
Yeah.
semifinal and in the state championship. So not only was it obviously a monumental weekend just to win the state championship, but to sweep both teams. I mean, you guys are playing the best teams in the state,
Mhm.
and sweeping them both times. What does it mean to win in such a fashion that does it take an extra level, I guess, of focus from your girls to accomplish it in that way?
I think it's still really crazy that that's how it happened, because in my mind, like gearing up for that weekend, I wouldn't have seen it going that way. Like, but
Uh-huh.
that's just my coaching mind being like, we're going to have to work so hard and they're going to fight and they're going to battle.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just, that's what my kids have done all season is
Mm-hmm.
they really hate losing. They really hate losing. Hate losing in practice. They hate losing,
Mm-hmm.
in games. And that was kind of the thing. We talked about it when it was, during district, when we
Mm-hmm.
kind of had that run of like not dropping sets. Like that's something that was important to the kids, and they enjoyed that fire and that
Mm-hmm.
challenge of like, let's see what we can do and let's see if we can do this. And I think it's kind of a challenge within themselves whenever things started going, in that third set against Aubrey, they started pushing, and it was, like them obviously fighting for their season at that point. And
Mm-hmm.
my kids just were like, "There's no going to drop a set now." Like
Mm-hmm.
the resilience in this group to just get things done, and to just I had kids step up in big time moments. I talk about my middles. That's been the one thing that stood out to me in that state final game, is my middles had their best game.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them had hit better than they've hit all season. They blocked better than they blocked all season, and I think that was a big factor for us too. Is for both of my middles to have their best game on one of the biggest stages, in volleyball, that was, I mean, a big difference maker for us. But I think that was a big part of, why we could go 3 sets was they just, they executed and people showed up and were big in big moments.
Right. And you mentioned your girls hate losing. That is very evident after, finishing the game on such a massive win streak, 26 games, I believe, a 26 game win streak to finish the season off. What's the response been like since coming back from Garland? Obviously, you've had a couple weeks to get settled back in, back to real life almost after what was such an incredible playoff run. What's the response been like from around the school or just around the community at large?
It was incredible, and that it's hard because I mean, you go and win, and then it's like we were coming back, and it's like we were on Thanksgiving break, so we didn't even like come back and see anybody. So we just kind of just. I think I looked at my phone after the game, and I had 115 text messages, and I was
Wow.
kind of like, I don't know what to do with that many notifications. So I kind of had to but I was making sure like to be diligent to like, okay, responding to all these people. I got tons of emails that, just was so cool. And I just know my girls were just loving every minute of it. And, just to be able to, for them, it's posted on social media and to be like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. And I just think we got a ton of, you know, encouragement and support throughout the season. And then for, I think, everybody to see us actually get it done, everyone was so great to us afterwards. And then we got to come back to school. We came back on the 28th, and I saw my principal, and it's funny. The 28th was my birthday actually too. So I came back from Christmas break or Thanksgiving break. It's my birthday, and this is the first time people have seen me, and I was dealing with a lot of emotions. I think I cried a little on that day too, just because it was just a lot. But man, our support system and our community has been incredible, and they have been with us, since day one. And we even had kids come. I had a little student section at the state tournament, and that was pretty cool. And it's been really awesome to do it for them and for the people that have believed in us, and we're there through all of it. And so it's been really awesome. Nobody really talked to me about what it feels like when you win. Like I felt like I knew what to do if we would have lost, and how it would have come and responded. But it's like the feeling after you win is it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I know I want to keep doing that because that it was awesome. And so, and now it's just kind of like, okay, what do we do now? And get back to work. And like it was really cool, and it's been awesome. And I think some of my girls have all been like, all right, we want to keep this thing going, and it's not just a one-time thing. And so it's basically, we get back to business, and we got to be in that moment for a while and enjoy it. But now it's kind of like, after Christmas break, we get to come back and get back to work and do it again, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us, Coach Burns. Once again, the Randall Lady Raiders are back to business after winning the state championship, going for number 2 next year. Knock on wood. We'll hope for it. Thanks again for joining us, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Stick around after the break for more Sports Drive.